Hey yo, look, rest in peace to Barbara Davis. We hit another layer. When she speak to me, it's like she's saying prayers. I feel like Randy Moss when he was on the Raiders. Man, they love it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to, I think this is episode 7, if I'm correct, of the podcast. But before we get into it, Trevor's got a quick announcement to make. So, Trevor, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, guys. So first of all, thank you for listening in to this podcast worldwide, and I appreciate it a ton. And for the fans who have been following my reporting on X, thank you very much. Unfortunately, I'm going to take a step back from journalism. I've gotten to a point where I need to kind of flip some things in my life, and it starts with reaching some kind of financial freedom. And I'm in a lot of student debt, a couple tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and and want to make it up to my family and stuff. And I'm still going to be doing journalism, some Sun stuff when I can, but need to put it for the side for now and kind of pursue another full-time opportunity. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a step back from the podcast too, just since I'll be looking for full-time work elsewhere. But worldwide, I want to thank you. It's been a lot of fun. I know you're coming up in journalism, so keep pursuing your dreams, and I'm looking forward to doing this last episode.
Yeah, 100%. Trevor, appreciate it. Had a nice little run, a little six. I mean, last episode we had, or the one that was last posted was Ishwan, right? So, a lot of great podcast or progress that we made here. So, yeah, let's end this one off with a banner here. I know the circumstances with the Suns right now aren't as great. Down 2-0 in the series to the Timberwolves. I'm honestly baffled at the situation, considering how well Phoenix has taken over against the Timberwolves this year, especially the last game of the year. 10 it off. I thought they would have built off that, especially since it was in Minnesota. Um, but Trevor, looking at this series, I'm confused. I don't know if you kind of agree with that in the sense, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think confused would be a good way to put it. Worldwide, I really don't understand. I've never really understood this Suns team dating back to November, and it seems to be a continuation of that. They closed the season so strong. They fight to get in their playoff seeding, and it seems like it's going to be for naught. I don't want to say that because for business and everything, and for Phoenix fans, it's nice to see the team do well, but it looks like they're nearing a first round exit. Really, Minnesota's put this team in a chokehold, and Anthony Edwards is establishing himself as one of the best players in this series. I think Gobert has ultimately made the difference, but this is it's not looking good. The Suns are down to their home court right now, and the pressure's on them to win two. Minnesota's really just got to win one here, and then it's got a game 5 at home if that's the case, if it's a 3-1. So the Suns got pressure's on. Got to win 2 games at home.
Yeah, 1,000%. And usually when you look at playoff series, game 1, the pressure is on the home team to win. Game 2, it's usually on the pressure for the away team to come in there, kind of try to set a tone there. But going back into game 3, Phoenix has no momentum at all. It's not like these games have been close and they've lost off a couple stupid turnovers in like the last 5 minutes of the game. It's been over at halftime pretty much. They've lost by 20, I think, in game 1, 20 plus. I don't know. I turned off the game in game 2 in the second half, which I've never done ever in my 10 years of being a Suns fan. Never done it ever. So that's new. Um, it's just, it's shitty. That's the only way to put it.
Right. Yeah,
Booker, I don't,
yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know. I mean, Booker is struggling to get 20. They have him in hell, Trevor. They do.
I saw a stat where if it's when it's McDaniels, Alexander Walker, and Edwards on the floor at the same time, it's a 92 to 52, I believe, point differential for New Orleans, and then when those guys are off, it's 136, 133 in favor of the Suns. Like the length is being really disruptive, and the offensive rating for Book when McDaniels is guarding him is 86.1 per 100 possessions. So they're scoring 86.1 points on average per 100. Obviously not good, and the ball, it seems like there's got to be like what do you call it, like oil on the ball or something like that worldwide, because some of these turnovers are like
Some WD-40, I don't know.
yeah, that like these guys are literally just dribbling and they lose the ball. Like it's happened in transition, it's happened in the half court. I think the stat that stood out in the last game is the Wolves scored 31 points off of their turnovers. The Suns turned it over 19 times, so the Wolves scored 32 points off of those, and then the Suns forced 13, but finished with just 2 points off turnovers. And if you guys remember the regular season finale, I don't have the stat up with me, but I believe the Suns first like 9 or 10 first quarter turnovers, and we're really able to capitalize on that. So Minnesota's established itself. This is the top defense in the NBA, and now they got the sixth man of the year officially. Naz Reid coming off the bench and doing some things, hitting threes and being an impact. And again, I mentioned Alexander Walker. He's had a hell of a first 2 games here. So if you're the Suns, I know there were some quotes that came out today. I'm sure you'll talk about it worldwide about the connection to this group and where they're at. Good comments and on behalf of Kevin Durant and Frank Vogel. And Grayson Allen actually seems to be doing okay with the ankles, so we'll see if he comes back in the series. Didn't look good, but he said it's feeling better than expected. I think if you're the Suns, you just got to find ways, man. Like you got to find ways to get the ball hopping around the gym. David, the account on Twitter at the 4-point play, posted a really good graphic. I'm not sure if we can get this up, but he posted the percentage amount for how many plays the Suns had ran by play. So if you guys want to take a look at that, that's a really good resource. It didn't differ much from the first 3 games of the regular season, which is a good thing, but now clearly what you're doing isn't working. So you got to find ways to make changes come these 2 home games.
Yeah, just kind of touching on the Alexander Walker stat. I believe before the series started, I think when he guarded Devin Booker, Booker was 1 of 17 shooting when being guarded by him. But yeah, that's not cool. And it just feels like just watching this team, I thought we were going to be great. This Suns team in their last 10 games of the regular season were 7-3. Had that big win against Minnesota, and then it looks like we just took like 4 steps back. I feel like this is like the worst I think I've seen them. And we just don't have anything offensively, which is this is the part that confuses me, because you have Bradley Beal, you have Devin Booker, and you have Kevin Durant. Can't get a look with them. I know the Timberwolves have a great defense, but at the same time, the Timberwolves haven't been playing great this series. I mean, Anthony Edwards shot 25%, I believe, in game 2. He was 3 of 12 from the field. And Phoenix is playing. They're playing terrible. It's not like Minnesota's playing great. It's just they're playing themselves in a way. So, I don't know. And Trevor, I talked to you about this, I believe, after game 2, but you can't go to Nurkic 4 straight possessions and in hopes that he makes a layup under the basket.
Yeah, I don't think you can go to him on much of that at all. Yeah.
And that's something. This is the one thing that I miss about DeAndre Ayton, and I do wish that they're in some parallel universe that DeAndre Ayton was on this team, because he provided so much shooting, and that's another thing too. I saw a tweet about this when the shot clock was winding down, and on those 50-50 balls that you usually need, Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton were huge with those. I forgot who tweeted that, but that was 100% true. But yeah, and a lot of these guys are getting good looks, but the shots just aren't falling. I mean, Kevin Durant has had so many mid-range open looks. He's been, I don't even know. And I don't even think Booker was going to be concerned come playoff time, just from how well he's played in the playoffs. And it's just confusing. I don't get it. I don't know, Trev. My only hope is the corgi that was on TikTok.
The corgi, he or she predicted 0-2. Let's see if the Suns win the 4 straight like it predicted.
Yeah. My prediction before the series was Suns in 6 as well, but I mean, I guess the series doesn't start until someone takes a game on the road, right?
That's right. So, I mean, everything seemed to be bad when the Suns went down 0-2 to the Nuggets and they made it a series. And then you could argue Chris doesn't get hurt in game 2, or if Book doesn't turn his ankle in game 5, it's a different series. So you never know. Things can change quickly.
Yeah. What else? I mean, it's not like, we've seen the other side of being up 2-0 many times against Dallas, and then, of course, against Milwaukee in the finals. So hopefully we have a little bit of good karma coming from the basketball gods. I know the Wolves fans were chanting Wolves in 4. I don't know if you saw that, Trevor.
I did. It brought back the flashbacks of the Bucks in 6.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I know the Suns in 4 chant too. That cursed us. But yeah, hopefully this team can just pull together. And Frank, whatever they're saying about the team being together is not true at all. I'm not going to name players, but this is not what I've heard at all. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in Phoenix, but it's not good from what I've been my past conversations.
Yeah, I know you mentioned conversations you had, and at least around the team. I don't know. We obviously reporting. You can only hear so much in the media
Yeah.
scrums on the record, but to me, I've been talking about it on the spaces with our audience since November that something hasn't felt right, and there's no way worldwide the offense should be taking just 22 threes, should be held to under 100 points, not just once but twice in a row in a playoff series, and the points off turnover stuff and turning over the ball. I think you could kind of foreshadow that with the fact that the Suns don't have a true point guard, but the fact that they, I guess, felt confident enough in their roster that they didn't need one, and still the issue is not being addressed. That's got to fall on somebody.
Yeah. Who said it? Chandler Parsons, I think. I don't know if you saw this, but he said that Isaiah Thomas should be starting for the Suns.
I did see that.
What's your takeaway on that?
Well, I know that IT's not going to play because Frank Vogel has said publicly he's not going to play him. But I think IT would at least compete out there, right? If you gave him at least 8 to 12 minutes.
And I
yeah.
did think about this as well, Trevor. His matchup would be Mike Conley. I believe Isaiah Thomas is 5'9", Conley is 6'1", so height differential there isn't really that crazy.
It doesn't hurt at this point. When you're down 0-2, clearly what you're doing isn't working. So, you should have had an urgency from the jump, but you got to make sure that something sticks now because you got to win 4 and 5 to get out of this thing.
Yeah. In the game tomorrow, you definitely got to try some things. You got to play Thad Young. There's just no question about it. He hasn't done a negative thing on the court anytime he stepped on. You got to play a bowl, man. You got to play him. I know we had this conversation about his playoff minutes and if we'd see him in the rotation. And I feel like this series it would be the one that would have the biggest impact in. And for some reason, we haven't seen Boble. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, he's 7. He's like 7'3", 7'4". I don't know. I don't get it. He should be playing. At this point, you got to play Josh Okogie, I think, for defense. He's not going to make a shot from the perimeter, but he has that hustle factor that you need in the playoffs. He's going to get you those rebounds. He's going to get you those tip-in layups. He's a decent finisher at the rim, but he won't be really called upon to do that. But you just kind of need him for the extra stuff that a lot of these guys don't do.
It is, and I just wonder, right? The craziest thing with Josh Okogie this year, going from the starting lineup to all the way out and not even playing come playoff time is just one of the craziest turnarounds I can remember from a basketball player, not only on a team but on a championship contending team, in all the seasons that I've watched.
Yeah, especially last year too. He had a great year. Master Kogi, month of January, he went crazy. I think it was January at least. Yeah, booking them was out. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not even gonna look at statistics because you don't really need statistics to really pick apart this series. The human eye can tell you what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. Shots gotta fall. I'm with putting up a high volume of 3-point shots, but I just don't want them chucking threes. You know what I mean, Trevor?
Yeah, 100%. You're talking about the Suns as a whole.
Yes, I just want it to be an efficient. I want it to be a good look.
Yeah, within the flow of the offense, absolutely.
So I think Keith Smith is the one that tweeted that out on Twitter that's what the Suns need to do. And I think there's probably a statistic about how many games the Suns have won with their high volume of 3-point shots. But at this point, no shots going in for them. So I don't know if I really want them to be chucking up 3-pointers. I don't know. It's really confusing. I haven't really liked Kevin Durant's shot selection in this series, I guess, from the 3-point outside the mark there. I'm sure I'll get attacked for that. But I just feel like he's been taking way harder shots than we need to, especially super early into the shot clock. And it all comes down to the Suns valuing the basketball, and the Suns have not been doing that clearly. How many turnovers did they have in the game 2 there?
19 in game 2.
19. Yeah, so that's pretty disgusting. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not counting them out of the series, but game 3, you got to win these 2 at home. You do. In game 5, you got to win the next 4. Honestly, I mean,
Yep.
you got to do it. You can't. The fans, the home court advantage has to be in effect too. If you're going to the game tomorrow, you gotta make the Timberwolves feel uncomfortable as what Timberwolves fans did there in Minnesota. And Trevor, one thing that scares me a lot about this team, it's not necessarily like the playoffs. It's the future of this team because there's not really a future. We have zero draft capital. Um, we have large sums of money in contracts like Bradley Beal. Um, there's just a lot of questions, and this Riddler aspect keeps popping up with this team, as I like to call it. And I just don't think it's going to go away. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered right now, currently, and just kind of moving forward, especially with the coaching staff and just the staff in general. I think Ishbia is going to bring in a lot of his personal guys. James Jones is probably out. I wouldn't even question that. Frank Vogel, I would assume, is gone. Trevor, I don't know how to really feel about that. But yeah, that's just kind of how I'm feeling right now.
I don't blame you. I think there's a lot of change that can happen and will happen if the Suns are a first round exit because they're supposed to go 3 rounds later and win a title. There's no other expectation than that. So, they didn't get it done, and something's got to change for it to get done.
Yeah,
If they lose.
If they do. And I'm not saying you have to break up the big 3. I gave them this year and next season. But Trevor, I knew the season was going to be really bad. I knew it was going to be a really tough season when I saw our fans hating on Devin Booker, and I tweeted that out because in my years of watching the Suns and being around this fan base, I've never seen that ever. That's just kind of when I knew the season was going to be a stinker, and some pretty what's the word I want to use for this? High credentialed media members are now throwing Devin Booker in trade talks. Trevor, don't really know how to feel about that one either.
That's just crazy. It's very, to me, worldwide, unless they know something, to me, it's very premature. But I've seen Bill Simmons suggest, the trade talks. That's the one that came out and I saw on the timeline. I don't think anybody here said anything unless I missed it. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I think that the Suns are committed to making Book the future of this team. And, we know that Ishbia is not afraid to make moves, right? So I don't think it would take the Suns very long to kind of put something together for Book, assuming that's the direction that he wants to go as well. But yeah, the Suns might not even lose this series. Like there's still time.
It's the best of 7. I mean, you gotta look at the glass half full.
Exactly, and the Suns got 2 home games, so let's see how the series goes, and then we can have those sort of conversations.
Yeah, but I just found it crazy that even fans, quote unquote fans of this fan base or this team, are putting Devin Booker and the trade finder type stuff. So that's kind of crazy to me. I've never really seen a future outside of Phoenix for Devin Booker, and I don't think that will ever be in the picture ever. Not even like in his later years. Devin Booker is the Phoenix Suns. This is his franchise, despite Kevin Durant and others being here. This is his team. This is his city. He's the mayor, pretty much. When you think Phoenix, you think Devin Booker, I guess. Might be a little cliche, but yeah, I wouldn't even. If anyone is concerned about those trade talks or supposed rumors, I wouldn't worry about it. Wouldn't even think about it. But yeah,
The only way I approve it worldwide is if the Suns get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in return.
And that's where we will end today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
I'm unemployed.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Great times here in the valley. Lots to smile about here. Our homies. I'm not even gonna I can't even talk the Suns anymore. It's just. I mean the shit. We got the draft today. You're a Cardinals fan, right, Trevor?
We better go Marvin or trade back.
My New York Giants are, I guess, trying to trade up to 3, so that's interesting. Drake
They like
May.
Drake May. Yeah.
Yep, I just saw an ad on TikTok with him and Raising Cane's, so I approve of him
Hey,
as the quarterback. I do love Danny Dimes though, so I don't know. I wouldn't mind neighbors. Um,
right.
Honestly, I haven't really paid attention to the NFL just because I've just been so sucked in on the NFL or with the Suns for this past season. So I'm kind of out of the loop somewhat. Um, but yeah, um, things are going great here in Phoenix. Our only hope is a corgi. Yeah, that's when you know it's rough.
Right. Right.
Can't even sugarcoat it. Yeah, I don't. Just gotta. I think I'm just gonna leave that there for now. Like I said, or like you said, Trevor. Or shit, words. This team's just got me so, so baffled. I don't even know. My thoughts aren't even thoughts anymore. Um, but yeah, this is it's 7 game series. We got to see what they even do tomorrow. Assuming this podcast does get up tonight, but I guess today or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this. We got to see what they do in game 3. You definitely got to set a tone. You just you got to come out in that first quarter, and I'm not really appreciating how the Suns are just kind of letting the Timberwolves talk to them either. Um, just you can't. I don't know what Jaden McDaniel said in that timeout when Book was walking back to the bench. I think you were the one that tweeted about that, right?
No, that was not me.
Okay, but I think you did post something along the lines of that. I believe maybe.
Yeah. Sorry, I totally missed what you were saying. My bad.
I was talking about the Suns players, how they're just letting the Timberwolves just kind of talk shit to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then we can restart that one. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
but yeah, you gotta fight back. Yeah, it's the playoffs.
It is.
I'm kind of tired of the laid back, the cool guy. That's what I call it, I guess.
Right.
Um, and you just don't see that. You don't see what's the what's the word I'm looking for? Words are circling. I guess we'll just go with aggression. You don't see that aggression, and specifically kind of Book. You don't really see him talk shit anymore.
Right.
And I don't know why he's chilled out on that because that was one of his favorite aspects of his game for me. Um, I mean, there was only one. There's a couple incidents this year with Cam Whitmore, and then there was one with Sochan um, earlier in the season. But I just don't see. I don't even see the team fire. I know Book looked like the only one that was locked in game 2. He looked locked in this pregame walk-in fit picture too, so that was cool. I know it was 4:20 in game 1, so I'm sure they were absolutely smoked out of their mind before they played. Um, but yeah, this is the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the Coyotes pretty much sold their soul for the Suns playoff run.
Seriously.
They're now in Utah. I don't really watch hockey, but do you have any comments on the Coyotes, Trevor?
I don't have jack shit on the Coyotes, but I will say, go Red Wings. That's my team.
Oh, Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, that's my team.
I have zero clue about hockey. I don't even know the rules. I just know you ice skate and you hit a puck with a stick. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's the gist.
All right, cool. But yeah, I think we'll just kind of end it there. Suns are pretty much they're in a tough little predicament here. Um, but yeah, if you guys are Phoenix Suns fans, I pray for all of you. Well, of course you are because you're watching this. Don't even know why I said that. But yeah, Thank you guys, and thank you guys for supporting us.
Yes, sir.
The journey is going to be kind of crazy. I don't even know what the future of this podcast will be after this. We'll just kind of put that in the air for now. But Trevor will still be doing his thing on Twitter. You'll still be doing the spaces as well, right?
Yep, spaces will still be going on. I'll be trying to get more guests like we have been and keep trying to build that community. It's been a lot of fun. It's been my favorite thing this year.
100%. Great time. Always go over there and check those out. And I guess you'll see me making sarcastic jokes on Instagram about the Suns. So, yeah, everything's in the freaking description below, I guess. And yeah, Trevor, I guess we're going to call this a wraps.
That's it. Yes, sir.
Let's go. Thank you guys for showing love. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that nonsense. Don't even need to say it. And yeah, peace out, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Playoff zone, man. It's time. It's time. It's time to start playing defense. It's time to execute it and take care of the ball, offense. It's time, man. We want to win the ring. It's time. It's time. It's time, Amanda. It's time.
It's time. It's time.
I'm hype. I'm hype as hell. I'm ready to go.